So it looks like I decided to do a part 2 to the Siren series here. I really wanted to try again because I felt that our amazing first Siren character, Gorthar Bloodhymn, he was the Renkai bringer of plate mail and power cores. I feel like he had such like a hardcore battle vibe. Very, I said heavy metal, and like it just had this really cool hardcore vibe. I thought you could still make another Siren and not quite have have a just drastically different vibe. So here we go. So for the next Siren, like I said, I wanted to be different. I didn't want to be so hardcore into it because bards, while they are musical, I don't know, there's different ways you can have a different cadence. If we're just going straight musical, we gotta have a different genre as inspiration. So just to make it different already, we'll pick a different race, and then instead of a male, we'll make a female this time. So we're already pretty different, which should direct our creativity in a different way, right? So let's start with, we are a Siren once again, and a Siren, we'll pull this over here. Boom. Siren, and we're gonna make a female, and I picked a human this time, right? And in Ashes of Creation, when it comes to races, which I am apparently not on right now, when it comes to races, you have your 4 main races. So humans, dwarves, orcs, elves, right? And under each of those, you have 2, I would almost call them sub-races or ethnicities. I'm not entirely sure what the proper term would be. And out of them, I picked these fellas. The Kalar. So I picked the Kalar mainly because it's build, order, civilization, a very, what seems like order, like knight order kind of society. Everything is very organized, built, streamlined, like an advanced civilization, if you will, an established kingdom kind of vibe. And so what I thought would be neat is if we took that vibe and we used that to kind of craft our Siren, right? And of the Siren, and we went with the female. So I started looking at the Kalar, kind of what they were, the influences. So they've got a European racial influence. And if you come down here, it says the artistic influence behind the architecture for this race is the French medieval influence. So I started to think about the French, medieval. I started thinking about, their 3, kind of what they put down as like their mission statement almost for the race, the build, order, civilization. And I started trying to think of how would I take that and use that as inspiration to build the idea of this character, right? So I think Bard is kind of hard in a sense that, like, as I'm going through the Bard and the different archetypes, right? Let me see if I actually have a list of the archetypes. Let's go to the classes. So if with Bard, and you come down here, these are all the different things you can be. So, they're all similar because they're all obviously got Bard flavor to them. And we are Bard first. Hold on, let's go here. Bard first, and then we go this way. There we go. As Bard primary, here's where you are. And I wanted to make sure that I didn't make a Siren so similar to where it could also be a trickster, except you just interchange 1 or 2 things. I wanted to make sure that a Siren would keep its individuality and its creative differences, its creative uniqueness. So I didn't want to go too crazy and get too far off the mark, but taking in all of the considerations, what I came up with was we'll start with the female, and I couldn't think of a name. Human names are a lot easier considering the fact that we are in fact human, and so I'm drawn to names that we would be used to. And for a female, and then we're talking French influence on the society and things like that, and then you start thinking of wearing heavier armor and being on the battlefield. I mean, the first person who comes to mind for me is Joan of Arc. So I figure our first name could be Joan, right? And then we start thinking of, okay, well, for the orc, we did Blood Hymn. I think it made sense. We talked about a hymn being a song. Talked about how hymn also usually is like, at least in my reference, is usually like religious. And we said violence is his religion. A little dramatic, but, and it led to Blood Hymn, and we thought it was really neat, and it really fit like the savage kind of side of what an orc can be and the bard. And so when it comes to this, it seems like a little harder to do. I like harmony, but that seems a little too not esoteric. Yeah, a little esoteric, but seems a little too musical and free for what essentially, in coming from this race and coming from this civilization, would essentially be like a bard tank, but like from like a knight perspective. So then I started thinking of how would she deliver her inspiration, because it doesn't seem like singing would necessarily be how they do it. So then I started thinking about, what about a drill instructor? And they kind of have those cadences, like the I don't know what I've been told, that technically that is to a rhythm, that is to a cadence, that's a beat. We could take that as like how she delivers it. So she delivers these kind of cadences while they're fighting. So that's how she could buff her teammates or debuff her opponents or what have you, however the mechanics are going to work. So I started thinking about that. And then I was like, okay, so we've got this cool cadence, but she would also kind of have that drill instructor vibe. Doesn't have to, right? But I just think it's like a cool meld. And I guess taking it that way, she might be a little more martial than she would Bard. And I'm trying to make sure Bard stays primary, because that's this. If we switched it, if we made tank primary right here and then Bard, then it's considered an Argent, which in fact should be hopefully slightly different than a Siren, right? Actually, the way I described it, it feels like it'd be more Argent, right? Wouldn't it be? Drill instructor, more Argent, because it'd be more martial than creative. So we have to try to make this more creative than martial. So maybe the drill sergeant doesn't necessarily work. Maybe that would be better for the Argent, because it feels like martial first and then creative, possibly. So I know it's a weird parallel to try to draw. So then if she is military order, I guess she could essentially still like it being in the military, like a bugle player, but that seems more bardish than martial. But I guess you could kind of go with that, or like Little Drummer Boy kind of vibes. The guy who plays the flute, you always see that picture of the Civil War of the person playing the flute or the drums marching into battle, kind of helping morale, I guess. So I guess we could go that one. If that's the case, if we think kind of that flute, we think marching, military, makes me think rhythm, or cadence. Maybe cadence is the last name. A cadence is when you have a rhythm. You kind of have a flow. And determining the cadence of battle, or the flow of battle, or the rhythm, or altering the cadence or the flow or the rhythm of battle to go by yours, thus empowering you and debuffing your opponents. We could do cadence. I like that. When we do that. Joan. Yeah, but cadence is like a middle name or a first name. Hey, maybe we do that. Maybe her first name is Cadence. So what would her last name be? I already said in the first part how I like to do last names is where I try to what she does. Flow, cadence, banner, right? You go into battle with your banner, with your sigil. Harmony, harmony's too long. Oh, that's a tough one. Verse, there you go. What about cadence? No, because valor verse seems weird. That doesn't seem like a last name, does it? Pride verse, pride note pride, righteous rhythm. That sounds like a guild name. Cadence, righteous, valor, order, cadence order, song order, rhythm order, note, righteous note. Oh, that's a weird last name. Blood Hymn just flows so well. This is way more difficult. It's hard. Treble, bass, notes, rhythm, rhyme. Man, this is really, really difficult. I'm trying to think of other names for a score. Yeah, score's not bad. It's a piece of music, a sheet of music. Aw, sheet. You get there's an orchestra, there is a composer composing, composition, brass, woodwinds, voice, vocal, notes, note, could use note, Candace, strong note, cadence, strong note, seems a little, maybe that seems like a little more dwarfy, I don't know why, but I get like a dwarf vibe off that. Valor note? No. Righteous note? So long for a last name. Righteous note seems okay. I like it. I kind of like note, but righteous note seems so fucking long. Imagine trying to fill out your paperwork like that. You know how many times you screwed up? Or like, hey, give me 10 minutes. I gotta write my name down here. Imagine what your signature would look like if your last name was like 37 letters long. Boy, I know this is great content. Me sitting here not coming up with an idea. Alright, I'm gonna put note. Cadence note, right? Cadence. Strong note. Valorant note. Valorant stance. Righteous note. Righteous. What about like... What if we do Joan... Ah! What did I do? What if we do Joan Cadence? Joan of Arc, Joan of Cadence. 2 on the nose. Maybe. What if we change Joan? What about... what is another French-inspired name? Thank you, Google. Leah, Juliet, Zoe. Where we? Oh no, the wrong button. Ooh, what about Zoe Cadence? I like it short because the long name's the last name Adele Cadence, Juliet Cadence. Give me more, Google. Oh no, I don't know why. This is not what we want. Leah Cadence, not bad. Lilo? Like Lilo and Stitch? Ah! What is this? That's not what we want! That says anus, so we're not going to do that one. Elise Cadence. I can dig it. Let's do it. Elise Cadence. I like it. Okay, so we have Elise Cadence. She's our female Kylar Siren, right? And so we're looking at her through the scope of kind of Joan of Arc, because it's French-inspired, some of their architecture and other ideas behind this race. And how would she deliver? I think she would deliver it maybe in the cadence like the drill instructor, but then again, like I said, I feel it's more martial than artistic. Maybe she's just literally a battle singer. Like, she just sings while she's there. Which would be cool, right? So a song... Ooh. I got this from Greatest Showman, right? Something... He finds a really good singer, female, and she's the something songbird or something. I can't remember it all. I've only seen The Greatest Showman once. Pretty good movie, though. So she could be like... Songbird of Righteousness? Ooh, Valor's Songbird? Valor's Songbird? Or the Victorious Songbird? I mean, if she wins, yeah, sure. Or the Righteous Songbird? Ooh, what about the Songbird? Ah! Damn it. Damn it. What about the Songbird of Righteousness? Is that spelled right? Sure. If it's not, deal with it. Alright, so we've got Elise Cadence, our female Kalar Siren, also known as the Songbird of Righteousness. I like it. I like it. She grew up in a military family in this empire, which again has got, like, in my head, has got like this advanced medieval civilization situation. You've got the king, you've got the nobility, you've got a more established empire with trade routes, big large walls, French architecture inspiration. So it kind of draws, you know, think of like the arches, Hunchback of Notre Dame, right? Am I crazy? Big towers, big pointy tops, arches, big roofs. Yeah, it kind of gets that vibe. So I would say she was from a military family. It doesn't have to be like a well-known military family, because you got to remember most of our player characters in most worlds, I don't know about Ash's Creation, how the story will be. You're not like the once in a time. Your parents aren't the war heroes of old and the mighty rich aristocrats. They're not always that. You're not always like the prodigy who's going to save the kingdom or anything like that. You're part of the whole that is setting out to save the land or what the kingdom or what have you. So I don't always like making her the son of the daughter of the general. You know, you can. Excuse me. In smaller settings, like a D&D setting, maybe you get away with that, like when your party's 4 or 5 people. However, like in a large setting, similar to what an MMO is, I feel like if I put I'm the daughter of the general. Are you, though? You and the 6,000 other sirens? Are you? So, in that case, you just say she is the daughter of a successful, renowned militarist. Whether maybe he is a strategist. So that she knows strategy, right? So if she is the daughter of a military strategist, I know I'm typing and I said I wouldn't. Sorry for all the random noise. Daughter of a military strategist. And the reason I say that is because then that would lend her to being able to kind of direct or move about the battle, because it says that bards are primarily, besides their music, is about positioning and movement, like their mobility and their positioning. And so let's say that she was the daughter of a military strategist and a dancer. Oh my god, guys, I'm a genius. And a dancer. Yes. That would be her mobility, and then her positioning and her battle prowess would come from being the daughter of a military individual, a military strategist with her positioning, and then with her mobility coming from her mother being a dancer. So now she's the songbird of righteousness, and we can kind of explain the perks of being a bard. So the movement and blah, blah, blah from the dancer and the military strategist, helping her with her martial prowess as well as her positioning. So boom. Okay, so that kind of fleshes her out. So how would she would, dancing, while I wouldn't say she's a dancer, I'm sure there is some other bard variation that probably goes in a little more. Oh, ta-da! Bard and fighter, blade dancer. See, so that would be the dancer. This is more of me explaining how she decided to be a bard first. So where did the artistic interest come into that would make this character bard first, militant second? So dancer from her mom, loves her mom dancing, loves the music, the art of it, loves it all. But dad is her dad. Maybe she's a daddy's girl. Or maybe she's not. Maybe her dad's not home a lot, so when he is home, she tries to get his affection, as would a son. It doesn't matter that she's a girl in this situation. It just is what it is. So maybe that's what pushes her to be interested in the military. Or maybe her mom is one of those artists because, I am primarily they call it culinary arts. I guess I could take it. A chef by trade, and as much as I love to cook and as much as I love to cook with my daughter and my son when he gets there, he's only 10 months now. I know I'm one of those guys that doesn't push her or them. I won't push them into the restaurant business, even though I love it, because it doesn't treat you well. So maybe mom is the same way. She loves being a dancer, loves the arts. Her daughter's in love with it too, but she doesn't want to push her over there. She'd rather her have a stable career. Dad, right? Yeah, military. So all this kind of plays together. So that would be why her bard would be first, to be primary in this situation, because of how much she loves her mom, how much she loves what her mom does. And then her dad fell in love with her mom, right? So he has a deep-seated love for everything music and dancing. However, he doesn't necessarily have the talent to do anything with it, but he is an absolutely gifted strategist. He's worked his way up the military, so that's where he lies. He's a great strategist. His mom's a great artist. They both love the arts, so it comes down to the daughter, who grows up loving the arts. But as things in society and in the world of this world have gone, wars, monsters, the military, to defend the art. To defend the art she loves so much and that her family loves, she's decided to take up arms, boom, and go into the military. Because she cannot enjoy the arts that she loves so much. Her mother cannot freely dance and the music and what have you if their society or their culture is destroyed through war. So she has decided that to protect the art that she loves so much, she will join the military. Thus, artistic into martial. Artistic first and then martial. So bard and then tank. And in this situation, you would be like, well, if he's a strategist, she wouldn't necessarily be a tank. Maybe she'd be a fighter. Or a ranger or a rogue? I don't know. But she wouldn't necessarily be a tank. Well, let's say Dad is a military strategist, well-built man. Mom, dancer, long legs, tall, great at dancing. Thus, offspring, maybe broader shoulders than usual for a female of this race. Long legs, tall. So you've got a tall, slightly broader shoulders. Or not. I mean, hell, she could be petite if she wanted to be. I mean, it literally doesn't matter what her physique is, because it all looks the same in plate armor, I would imagine, right? But I'm just like running through this. So if she had a, let's say, wider shoulders, bigger physique, longer legs, taller, which would kind of lend you, because when I think of tank, I think of like well-built, holds the heavy armor well, right? Not necessarily a fighter. I feel like more medium armor, maybe even like hard leather armor. So leather armor, usually medium armor, whatever. Medium armor, like way more mobile. So then you have her loving dancing and being mobile because of the bard. So maybe she is a little more mobile. Maybe it's not full plate mail. Maybe it's whatever the drop down from plate mail but above leather armor would be. Sorry, I should know this, but I don't. So she moves around in that armor. But because of her broad physique, she can wear the better armor. And she does, because who the fuck wants to get hit? What is that manga / anime where it's like I max defense because I don't want to get hurt? Kind of that same fucking thing, right? So maybe that's what she does. So that would lend her to being the tank role, right? And then you could just have fun with it from there. She doesn't have to sing, but we went Songbird of Righteousness, so excuse me, maybe she does sing. Maybe that's her thing. Maybe she makes her own theme music. That's what it is. Elise, the Songbird of Righteousness, makes her own theme music. She dons her battle armor. She's a tank, so she pulls out a shield. Maybe she has a mace or a flail. Flails seem so unwieldy, don't they? Maybe she has that and an axe. Not as elegant. Would you say elegant? It's got to be a sword, right? From like a civilization kind of. They seem like a sword and board kind of situation. So she had the shield and she'd have the sword, and she just like makes her own fucking theme music when she goes into battle. She's like going in, she's just like bum. I went straight to Indiana Jones. Bum ba dum bum bum ba bum. But obviously way better than me because she's the Songbird of Righteousness. Or maybe she does the what is it? The overture. She does that while they're fighting or whatever. Makes her own theme music the whole time. Obviously it would be great, and everybody around her hearing her is just inspired by it. She's in there just clank, like metal is clanking, making like almost like a hi-hat, and she's like singing around it. So then like she's singing and you've got the tss, 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 obviously much louder because it'd be clanging like a clang, but like in her head while she's singing she uses it as the hi-hat. So she's like, la 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 la, bum ba dum. It's like this weird percussive of the battle, and she sings to the backdrop of the percussion of the battle, and it just, they're fighting, and they kind of get caught up in her rhythm, and with her rhythm, they're like, oh, okay, I'm feeling it, I'm in the rhythm, I got this, oh, okay, I'm in the rhythm, and they get in the rhythm of battle. Maybe that's how she kind of directs the battle as a siren up front, is she's changing the rhythm of the battle to her own rhythm that she is actually producing, with her voice and the sounds of battle, and her comrades get caught up in that rhythm and they go with it, and it just puts them in a better rhythm, throws off the other people, throws off the enemies, and that's how they win. Yeah, I kind of like it. Feels good. It feels different. Essentially, we've still got the same thing. She's up front, which is the same as Gorthar. Gorthar's up front. Elise is up front, kind of strategizing, making her voice to the rhythm of the battle, moving around in this heavy armor, singing, really. This beautiful, like, enchanting song, again, to the backdrop of all the beats and stuff dropping from the battle. And she's kind of directing and doing the military strategist thing, directing people over here, directing people over there, and moving about because she's a dancer. That seems a more elegant way to be a siren. While then we had the first one we did, which was the male Rinkai, Gorthar Blood Hymn. I love it so much. Who's really just in the front with them, with your other tanks. And he's got the plate mail, and he's got he's probably more dark colors or stained or busted up armor. More like, think like heavy metal in the middle of a medieval mosh pit kind of guy. and he's up front in his battle is he's just like yelling and screaming and almost like the difference between like a death metal screamo kind of mosh pit guy up front, bam, and then we've kind of got our, I don't want to say opera, but I feel like more elegant flowing music to the battle of almost like if you had like I've heard music of like songs of like Viking songs or like Viking songs over the battle, and it's like this beautiful kind of Valkyrie kind of angelic deal, but it's like intense at the same time. It's smooth and you kind of get sucked into it, and that's kind of what she's got going on. You could almost call her like, instead of Songbird of Righteousness, which I like, that I think Songbird of Righteousness gives her almost this aloof like icon, doesn't it? It kind of makes her feel more like a, I don't want to say pop idol, but you know what I'm saying, like a military icon. The Songbird of Righteousness, like something that you don't want to dirty or you don't want to sully, but she's in the battle. So maybe Songbird of Righteousness is too floofy. Froofy. I don't know what the fuck I'm trying to say. I just don't know if it fits. Like, what about Valkyrie? What about the Valkyrie of Harmony? The Songstress of Battle. I like it. I like Valkyrie so much, though. Oh, man. I don't know. I like Valkyrie a lot. You guys should let me know what you think. Or if you've got a better idea. And I can't spell Valkyrie, so we're gonna do that. Valkyrie of Harmony? No. I don't know. I like Valkyrie in there somewhere. Maybe you don't actually need anything else. Maybe she's just known as the Valkyrie. And she is, she does her thing. There's got to be a better word for this. And I just can't think of it. So somebody in the chat, help me out. Put down there if you have a better idea, or you can help complete the thought that apparently I cannot. Another reason I brought it up, like I said, is because Songbird, as we kind of fleshed out the idea behind the character, Songbird of Righteousness is really cool, but Songbird now, to me, makes me think of something you keep in a cage, something you don't want to get dirtied or sullied, not something you would put on the front of a battlefield, right? So maybe Songbird is the wrong choice. Battlebird. But then we totally used the song part. Yeah, that's character number 2. I like the fact that they're both sirens, and we kind of have two totally different feels, right? We have Elise Cadence, the Songbird of Righteousness, or something to do with Valkyrie music. She was the daughter of a military strategist and a dancer. Feels like this elite, well-educated, well-versed. I did it. That's hilarious. Well-versed in both military and entertainment. She leads the battle, gets the battle going in her rhythm, brings her comrades into her rhythm, takes her foes out of rhythm, right? And that's who we've got, this Songbird. She'd almost be like a vision on the battlefield, right? And then we've got old Gorthar Bloodhymn. I'm talking heavy metal, the bringer of plate mail and power chords, baby. Up in there screaming, yelling, moshing, doing his thing, rampaging through battle. He doesn't get you into his rhythm, and he doesn't take them out of the rhythm. He just he's so loud that nobody else can even try to make a rhythm. His rhythm is just so overpowering, so domineering. He just overtakes everything, and you either dance to his music or get the fuck up off the floor. So I think it's like two different feels, but it's the same class. And I think that's what I like so much about creating characters, is that there are so many different ways that you can make the same character, at least the same class. Let's change it. There are so many different ways you can make the same class. And you can just drastically different characters with different backstories and everything, and it really gets your mind working and it really gets your imagination working, and I think that's what I love so much. And then insert that into an MMO that gives you the ability to have up to 64 different characters that are all technically different. I don't know if they'll all be available on release or whatever. It'll take me 6 months to find the one character I actually want to play past level whatever. Let's assume that level 10 is like easy to get to and then it slows significantly after that. Don't know if it's true. I really have no idea, but let's just assume I'll have 64 level 10s. Probably until I figure out what I want to do. So that is the end of the Siren video, where we made 2 different sirens, totally different. I loved it. It is a lot of fun, as I said at the end of the first part, so I am very excited to continue this. And until we roll the next random generated number and pick another class and see what we can do, I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you do well and have fun out there.